Hello, peoples of the internet. This is Eminough, and welcome to Plague Incorporated. Now, this is a game where you are playing as some sort of supreme overlord of something that makes genetically engineered organisms and of various types. As we start the game, you'll see there's bacteria, virus, fungus, parasite, prion, nanovirus, and bioweapon. And then there are some special ones that you can play as if you'd like, but we're not going to do that yet because we are just starting out, and so we're going to do a bacteria. Now, I'm going to do it on normal, and let's call this XVR. Okay. XVR 051. And yeah, I've got iOS 11 running, so I get the fancy keyboard, which is kind of nice. And XVR 051. Now I have ATP boost, which will give us bonus DNA. It doesn't look like I have any of those, any of those, any of these, or any of these, and that's fine. The extra DNA will do just fine. Will do us just fine. Now, my general strategy is I start in India, and I arbitrarily like to click as close to the top of that as I can. XVR051 begins in India. So here, the basics of this game can be explained right here. So this is the disease panel, if you will. This petri dish shows what your virus, bacteria, or whatever you're playing as looks like. Here are the transmission options, which we already have a few of them unlocked, and I'll get to this in a second. Here are the symptoms. This is what happened. This is the visible effects of the disease. Like if you have the cold, then you'll probably have some runny nose, some coughing, maybe a bit of a fever. And those are examples of symptoms and abilities. These are kind of upgrades to your disease that make the game a little bit easier. So it is currently the 29th of September, 30th now, and it's going to keep going forward in time as the disease spreads. We currently have one infected. Now, the other important thing to notice about this game is this pie chart, which shows how many people are healthy in blue, how many people are infected in red, and how many people are dead in gray. This screen shows how close to curing the disease the world has come, and they've not noticed this yet since we just started out. So there is 0% research done on the cure, and here's the data, which you really won't look very much at, but it shows things like the spread summary, so which countries your disease is in, the world graph, the percentage of the population that is infected with your disease. Sorry, I keep exiting out of this. The cure graph. This shows how much money is being put into the cure in millions, and how close the cure is to being completed. And the disease graph. This shows the graphs of your infectivity levels, your severity levels, and your lethality levels in pink, yellow, and purple, respectively. Now, I can exit out. Tip: pop orange DNA bubbles to get DNA points. There we go, we just got 3 more DNA. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to do, since we started in India, is I'm going, and this is a good and this is the strategy that I use, is I get water first, and then I'm going to get birds, and then coughing. Now, you really want to be careful with symptoms, since symptoms can let people know that there's a new disease going around, and they will start to try and cure you. So we're going to have to be really careful with that. Plus, there's the chance that your disease can mutate something that you don't want, and depending on the difficulty level that you're playing, that can actually cost you DNA points and make it harder to win. So we really need to be careful with which symptoms we get and when. Okay, we've got 14 DNA points, and that is enough to get us birds. And coughing costs 4, but we're going to wait a little bit on that. And actually, we may want to get drug resistance 1 first. So, and actually, let's go ahead and speed this up, because I don't want this episode to last for too long. Yeah, we got that delay. Tip, country information. Find out more information about a country. To find out more information about a country, press the country name at the bottom of the screen to open the country menu. Press the I in the top left for even more info. So, what they're talking about is, for example, oh, we've infected over 100 people. We can click here, in business as usual. This is how many people there are in the country, how many are infected, how many are dead, how much medical research is being put into the disease, and then if we click here, it gives us information, a rural country. That's important because there's a specific upgrade that you can get that increases infectivity in rural areas, and a hot, humid climate, which again, there's some upgrades you can get that increase infectivity in hot climates and humid climates, respectively. So back to the game. More DNA for us, that's good. Now what we're going to do, let's get drug resistance 1, and actually cold resistance, just in case we move quickly into a colder climate, which there is always the possibility of, especially since they're both going to Greenland. Oh, and the coughing symptom just mutated, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. Well, besides the fact that there is now a symptom, we don't need to worry about that anymore. So next, I think we should go for water 2. That'll increase our infectivity a little bit more, and at the very least for the bacteria stage, that's not a bad thing. So let's get that DNA. Very high levels of bird migration expected. Okay, so then if possible, we should try and get bird 2 before that happens. Oh, and we've spread to China. And also there we really are spreading quite quickly, which is good for us, but bad for the rest of the world. Right. Hopefully we can get to 20 DNA before the bird migration event happens. Okay, now we're in Africa. If we can get into the Americas, that'll be good. And you'll notice that there are red boats and there are going to be red airplanes as soon as we get air unlocked. Oh, just in time. Extreme bird migration event. Alright. Now we're in those countries as well. Oh, and we evolved cysts. Let's see if we can get that out of the way, because as infective as it is, oh, we've got on airplanes now. Cysts are really pretty overt, especially for this stage of this point in the game. Oh, and we just got into the United States. And with all this wonderful DNA that we have, let's get drug resistance 2 really fast. That, and then get genetic hardening 1. Just as a precaution. Let's get those, just keep getting the DNA. Next, what we'll want to do is, now that we're on all of the continents, we're going to want to try and get onto Greenland, Madagascar, and into Oceania, which it looks like we are, for the most part, in Oceania. We're going to want to keep that train of thought going, though. And with 38 DNA points, let's see. Let's get rodent 1. And let's save up for genetic, maybe not yet. Maybe not genetic hardening quite yet. And the Festival of Love, you might want to get nausea, because there's a slight infective chance of infection when you kiss people. Oh, and we're in Canada now. Alright, in Mexico, and Poland, and those countries, I'm not going to try and list all of them. Anyway, there, and get these before they disappear. And now let's get livestock 1 and water 2, just so that we'll be sure to get to all of the islands. And as kind of a side thought, let's get insect 1 really fast. Alright. Not too bad so far. Insomnia. No, we'll get that later when it'll benefit us more. There is a strategy, and there's also an achievement related to the strategy, where if you make the scientists really tired and by giving them insomnia, and then you also make them anemic, which lowers their ability of blood to carry oxygen, then you can slow down research cure. Oh, research cure progress, and they just noticed us. Let's see, and we were found in South Africa first, and they're noticing that a similar disease is everywhere else. Okay, so now we're noticed at 88% infection of the world. Let's go ahead and get that, and now would be a good time to get genetic hardening too. So let's do that. Rio Olympics mystery. Mystery still surrounds the decision to postpone the Rio Olympics. Organizers promise it will happen soon, but no reason has been given for the change. It's probably because of XVR 051. Insomnia symptom mutated. Let's go ahead and take that off really fast. Spain starts work on the cure. Oh no. Let's hope that doesn't affect our ability to wipe out humanity with a single disease. Yes, I know that we needed to evolve the lethal symptoms in order to kill people. Let's actually look at world and infection spread summary. Okay, so it looks like Greenland, Peru, and Iceland are still doing relatively well despite having the infection present inside their borders. Cysts symptom mutated, let's keep that from happening quite yet. And we are going to want to get livestock too, so that we can finish infecting the rural areas, namely Peru, Greenland, and Iceland. Alright, and at this point in the game, we're going to want to start considering lethality. As you can see, we have 2,332 deaths related to the disease, but if we want to kill the rest of the 7 billion or so people in the world, we're going to need it to become a lot more deadly. So, what my plan is... Oh, pneumonia symptom mutated. Pneumonia. Oh, okay. Let's leave that. Let's see. How much of the world is infected? Oh, there are no healthy people left in the world, it would appear. I mean, just according to this. So, let's go ahead and, let's get rid of these for some extra DNA. Now this is a strategy that some people won't like, selling off all of the transmission once we've infected everybody, but it works relatively well for me. Let's get immune suppression and total organ failure and coma, and then we'll let the rest of it mutate. The rest of the symptoms that mutate as they will. And we're going to be basically saving up purely for genetic reshuffle at this point, since there's going to be a lot more cure effort put into solving us. So we're going to need to pop all of these blue bubbles, and we're told to fight the cure. Now there are several ways that we can do that, but the best way to do it is getting the genetic reshuffle. And it looks like they went to Southern Africa for that trip. We've killed more than the smallpox officially, so hooray, I guess. I mean, we shouldn't really be celebrating killing off so many people. Oh, 25% cure completion. Let's go ahead and buy that, which should set them back a little bit, but they really are making a lot of progress. Probably that's probably partially due to the fact that we're not a very complex virus at this point, or bacteria at this point, which is one of the downsides of the strategy that I have to sell off all of the transmission transmission vectors. Let's go ahead and get that. We are killing rather quickly. And let's get both of you to see if we can slow down the cure research any further. And now we're basically just saving up to 34 DNA points to set them back a little bit more with the last genetic reshuffle. Which may not need to happen. They don't look like they're going to pass 45% at this point. Even so, yeah, if you can see, we've killed off almost 6.9 or 7 billion people, so there's not very many people left in the world. Now, I wonder if the scientists would be the most likely people to be killed off first in a real-world scenario like this. I mean, yes, they do have sanitary procedures and equipment to keep them from contracting whatever they're studying, but, I mean, it just seems to me like they would be pretty quick to go. Experimental cure for XVR 501 lethal has been found to be lethal and 100% lethal in humans, which will set back their cure efforts. So that just took 2 more percentage points off of their cure efforts, and there are less than 5 million people alive in the world at this point, so that looks like it's a success for us. Alright, and any second now, we should win. Now, I think I'll try and do one episode per level, but there are probably going to be some points where I need to split up a level into 2 or more parts, and I will. You'll figure that out as I do. I can't really plan that. Anyways, let's boost our score just a little bit by getting nausea, paranoia, and yeah, that's everything that we can afford at this point. And well, that about wraps it up. That was bacteria, the bacteria stage of Plague Incorporated, or Plague Inc. as it's most commonly referred to. And it looks like it only took about 3 years to get everybody infected and killed. All right. Now, I'm wanting to kind of do a science of video for the bacteria, virus, and all of that kind of thing that I do, but science of, I just realized, is actually taken by game theory, so MatPat, sorry about that. I don't mean to infringe on your trademark. I'll think of something else, I promise. But as far as that goes, I kind of want to do kind of a exploratory video into how these diseases that I create in the process of this game would work, so that we'll basically so that we'll be more educated. Plus, microbiology and virology are really fun topics, especially in my opinion. Anyways, our bacteria called XVR 051 just wiped out the world in 931 days. So yeah, right around the 3-year mark, maybe a few months short. Next, okay, we got 3 of the 5 biohazards. Total score 7,750, and yes, I did enjoy playing Incorporated. Thank you, computer, but I will rate you later. Oh, and I discovered the Terrasite gene. I will try that later too. Alright, thank you everybody for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, leave any suggestions, comments or questions that you have in the comments below. I will try to respond to them all best I can. And I will see you later.